Yeah, breaking news as these wildfires break out in central Texas. The biggest one still burning tonight, and new evacuations are underway. Good evening, I'm Shannon Wolfson.
And I'm Jim Spencer. Dry and windy conditions have led to an outbreak of fires in Bastrop and Williamson counties. Fire crews from multiple agencies have been working to put out the 4 fires. They are located in Smithville, Granger, Page, and Cedar Creek. 2 of them are now out.
But right now, the biggest threat is in Smithville. Fire crews there have evacuated Busher State Park and the MD Anderson Research Center, and so far, only 10% of that fire is contained.
KXAN's Chris Sadeghi is live in Smithville, where firefighters are working to bring this wildfire under control. Chris?
And it is still spreading, Jim. Just within the last 10 minutes, we got some new information on evacuations. Those are taking place now on Ann Powell Road in proximity here to Busher State Park. Evacuations on Ann Powell Road and also standby evacuations on nearby KLBJ Road. Also, for those evacuations, the Smithville Rec Center has been turned into a shelter so those people have some place to go. The estimated acres burned went from 25 to 150 in just about an hour's time, and it actually got on the MD Anderson Research Facility. We were told that the structure was not in danger, but as a precaution, that facility was evacuated along with 10 campers here at Busher State Park. Now, the Forest Service says they have resources on the ground and in the air, but that this fire, so far, nothing like the Bastrop fires in 2011, whereas that one spread very quickly. This one is spreading, but more steady.
The fire has been steadily growing. It hasn't been raging across the countryside. It has been just steadily marching along with the wind and the dry fuels, and we've been working to get a containment line around it. But the acreage at this point, it has grown faster than we've been able to get a line around it.
Now, Bastrop County is ripe with pine trees. Every now and then, we will see a big plume of black smoke go up. And what the Forest Service tells us is when you see that, it's likely burning up pine trees. And those pine trees are fuel for wildfire, and it makes it very difficult to contain. The last update we had, just 10% contained. They are doing their best. They have plenty of resources, but they're taking no chances, and that's why those evacuations are taking place. Once again, Ann Powell Road evacuating, KLBJ Road on standby evacuation. We're live in Smithville tonight. Chris Sadeghi, KXAN News.
Well, those are some amazing images out there, Chris. Thank you. This fire is so big, it is visible from Austin. You're looking at the view from our weather camera on top of the Austonian, Austin's tallest structure, and there it is. As the crow flies, that is 40 miles away. A huge plume of smoke, as you can see, trailing off there from north to south as that front brought the north winds today and is blowing that direction. Now, the good news is, let's look at Viper, by the way. We can see this thing on radar even. This is not rain. That is ash from that fire there near Smithville right now, showing up on radar this afternoon. Occasionally, you'll see it turn a little bit sharper there, yellow or darker green. I think that's what Chris was talking about when he says occasionally some of those trees, the clusters of trees, will burst up into a bigger fire. And I think that's when we're seeing more ash every now and then, but it doesn't look like it's changing very much right now. We saw today the winds that were occasionally over 20 miles per hour, but as cold fronts go, this wasn't an incredible amount of wind. And these are the current wind speeds. They are coming down. In fact, over here in Bastrop County, Fayette County, we're showing the winds now averaging below 10 miles per hour. But look at this humidity drop. That is why it is so dry out there this evening. We went from 77% humidity at 1 o'clock this morning behind the front to 11% by 3 p.m. And right now the humidity is down to 10%. Shannon?
All right, Jim, again, we want to remind you these evacuations are happening right now on Ann Powell Road. Standby evacuations are on KLBJ Road, and the Smithville Rec Center is the shelter for those people who are being evacuated right now and who may be evacuated later. And Jim, you know, as Chris mentioned a little bit, these fires are reminding a lot of people about those fires in Bastrop County in 2011.
Some of those smoke plumes are very reminiscent of that fire, aren't they? That was the most destructive wildfire in Texas history. It was called the Bastrop Complex Fire. It broke out on Labor Day weekend 4 years ago. It actually started as 3 separate fires that merged into one wildfire. It took crews nearly 2 months to completely put it out. In the end, it burned 34,000 acres. 2 people died, 1,600 homes were destroyed. But this fire today, by comparison, a lot of differences in it. First of all, the wind speed. You see the wind comparison today, we've seen 15 to 20 mile per hour winds, maybe an occasional gust up to 25. On that day in September, we saw winds gusting over 40 miles per hour. 40 miles per hour behind that cold front. And the drought status comparison. This was the drought September 4th, 2011. Nearly the whole state in exceptional drought. Well, it's not good right now. We do have severe to extreme drought, but we were drier and the vegetation was slightly drier then. We have a whole lot more on this fire. The conditions right now, I've got a wildfire prevention guide in the severe weather safety portion of our website. Also, counties under burn ban, always there too, under the weather menu on KXAN.com.